What is a ridiculously awesome resume? And the best way to make it easy for the reviewer to make that quick connection, get right down to the things that you're most proud of. Get to the things that you're best known for. The types of things that speak very directly, and this is important, to the types of positions that you're pursuing. And the things that you think are going to matter the most to someone who needs to find and hire a you as quickly and as painlessly as possible. And that's what I'm going to teach you how to do today. I'm going to teach you how to make your resume so ridiculously awesome that the hiring manager won't just read through the darn thing, they will be intrigued enough by it to invite you in for an interview. Number one, again, this is a marketing document. It's not your autobiography. It's not a list of everything you've done since your sophomore year in high school. It's a marketing document that's angled specifically to the types of opportunities that you're pursuing. So unless you're thinking about being a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader, or, wouldn't that be great, or a pom-pom coach, I don't need to know that you were on your high school spirit squad. Likewise, I don't really need to know that you enjoy Caribbean travel. Unless you're chasing after a position that your beach expertise is going to be advantageous for the one reviewing your resume. I don't need your high school GPA. I don't need to know that you like jogging. And I don't need details on your political affiliations. That one, by the way, can actually hurt you. Stay away from potentially controversial line items on your resume unless, again, it will serve to your advantage in your career field. For instance, if you are going after a position for the Republican Party, of course, I'm going to want those details. Otherwise, if they're not relevant to where you're heading, leave them off. Moving on. Number two, the hiring manager wants to know what's in it for her. Don't be a whiffum. Do you guys know what a whiffum is? What's in it for me? For me? How much vacation time do I get? Can I have an iPhone? Well, I got that office over there in the corner. What about a company car? I'm going to need a couple weeks vacation. The hiring manager wants to know what's in it for them. What can you do for them? What do you bring to the table? Knowing this, you want to make sure that your resume doesn't hint that this is all about what you want. I see this the most in career objectives. I want a job in a growth industry where I can be challenged and I can grow and I can climb the corporate ladder. But we'll get to objectives in a second. They're all awful. But I is more like I. Showcase what you can do for the team, not what you want out of the deal. Yes, it's important that you find something that feels good and is fulfilling. But we're talking about your resume. Don't be a whiffum. Number three, I know I will sound like Captain Obvious with this one, but you would be shocked to see how much truth stretching goes on in the world of resumes. Yes, you want to be strategic. And that's what we're here talking about today. But you can't lie. You just can't. It'll get you. We all have our insecurities when it comes to our careers and our job searches. All of us do. And maybe you feel like you haven't had the right internships. Maybe you haven't had any at all. Maybe you got fired from a job after 2 months. Maybe you have switched universities 3 or 4 times. We all have blemishes, if you will. But oftentimes, your best defense is really a good offense. I'm not saying that you need to create some flowery tale that, goes off onto a random tangent. But often, if you just structure a strategically placed bullet point within your resume that kind of cuts off at the pass any kind of belief someone may have and it spins it into a positive light, you're much better off. Because then the reviewer is not going to jump to their own conclusion. Because when they jump to a conclusion, they'll probably jump to a negative one. So be strategic, spin it, but no lies. Folks, the people that are reviewing your resumes, they're all regular people. They're people like you and people like me. They Facebook. They read blogs. They watch the American Idol auditions. Some of them do so in eating nachos in their underwear. The people reviewing your resumes, they're just regular people. They want you to be compelling and memorable. They want you to roll up your sleeves and let them know why you would just kill it at their company in that position. But you don't need to overwrite the thing. Number 5, and this ties into number 4, don't even think about writing your resume in the third person. And by this I mean, Nicole Jackson excels at project management. Frederick Murphy designed a global database that significantly reduces costs. Your name and your contact information is right up at the top of that resume, right? And you usually are going to send in some kind of email or cover letter or note that sets off that this is indeed coming from you, correct? Given this, it's safe to assume that the reviewer is going to deduce that that resume was written by you. So when you write it in the third person, it's just a little bit weird. Resumes in the first person always, but there is a catch to this. The catch is remove your pronouns. You should remove the pronouns like I and my from each phrase and each bullet point. Here's an example. Instead of saying, I've been complimented by my manager for my excellent client relations skills, you would say, complimented by management for excellence in client relations. You see the difference? First person, omit the pronouns. And this is one that catches a lot of people. This is a tough one for a lot of people. The last 2 fundamentals to ingrain into your heads as you launch a resume writing project, or as you fine-tune your existing resume. Typos are a big no. Duh, right? You can't have even one. As far as I'm concerned, if you've got 2 or more, you're history. Because you know what I think when I see that on a resume? I think you don't care. I think you're probably a sloppy worker. And sloppy workers are not top contenders for positions. So absolutely, don't rely on spell check. Review your work and review it closely. And then fundamental 6, this process is going to challenge you. It should challenge you. It's supposed to challenge you. If this were easy, the entire resume writing industry, it wouldn't exist. Resume writing requires focus. It requires strategy, and it requires that weird, awkward, squirmy feeling that you sometimes get when you feel like you're bragging about yourself. But it won't kill you, I promise. Beyond the fundamentals, you really need to have a resume game plan. And this is where a lot of people go wrong.